She's a beautiful teacher. The tenderness of the university, and they're interacting with thugs. And steamed matches until there was no breath left. The killers are evil because they want to hide their crimes. They burned the body of Tang. Soon enough, the girl's charred body caused a stir. The police quickly cordoned off the scene. The media also rushed to report, to identify the victim. So the police conducted an investigation. And finally, thanks to the identification of an elderly
Your identity
mother,
has been confirmed. Her name is Saba and she's a lecturer at a nearby university.
Saba not only has a beautiful youthful appearance, but also a kind and gentle heart. That's what a teacher is. Loved by students like that. To be so brutally interacted with. Words like murder. Burn the body. It's been published in the media. This makes many students unacceptable. They've automatically organized a memorial service, just to express my deep regret. For the good teacher in my heart. I hope the police find the killer soon. Bring the wicked to justice. But right now, your words. The director made everyone present stunned by the tragic death of Saba. What the principal cares about, it's not that the unsub is greasy, outside the law or not. It's the negative impact of this. For the reputation of the school. That's right, she was brutally interacted and then burned alive. We all know that. But I still don't understand why that night she stayed here again, until 10 to 30 days. Not only did the principal not speak out for Sapa, but also criticizing. You shouldn't have stayed at school so late. Maybe in his subconscious he already exists. Prejudice with women. I blame the clothes. Even the indecent behavior of Saba. It was the cause of her death. He didn't know those words. It was immediately aroused. The strong outrage of the students. They couldn't believe that the teacher's tragic death. It's been taken so lightly by these leaders. To get justice for Saba. And soon bring the unsub to justice. Students came spontaneously in front of the Gandhi Monument protest. Their resentful screams are like LAN flames. Hurry up to the people around you. I see the protests getting worse. A group of fully armed police officers. They walked into the school without warning. The students' hands not pantyhose. This iron was immediately suppressed. Although then, many were taken to the hospital for injuries. But a schoolgirl named Gauri. Before I passed out, I downloaded the video. Capture that scene online. We were brutally interacted by the police. Our teacher was burned 4 days ago. We're protesting peacefully. A group of police stormed our school and they attack us in a way cruel. Look at the panicked students. They don't know where to go and what to do. Words of Gauri. Quickly get the sympathy of society. More and more college students are standing up for them. The media also began to make headlines. They questioned why the police didn't arrest the killer, but point the weapon at. The students protested peacefully, asking the government at the same time, give a reasonable explanation. Things are at risk. Further up the ladder, the deputy director, Kuma, suddenly appeared. Not like other police officers. Kuma first apologized to the students because of the behavior of subordinates, then promised to give everyone an answer. He then informed the mother of the Saba victim. You will find the killer within 30 days. I'll put the criminal in front of you. Within 30 days, Kuma's intervention was temporarily eased. The wave of anger is rising. But everyone's focused on you. If you don't catch the killer, a bigger storm will come. To catch the man who murdered Saba, Kuma and his subordinates conducted a thorough investigation, both the scene and the people living nearby. Finally, through the camera, supervision of gas stations and toll stations, they've identified an important clue. The crime scene is between the gas station and the toll booth. There are no turns or neighborhoods on this road. It usually takes a maximum of 4 minutes to pass through. The strange thing is, about an hour after the crime, there's a total of 96 cars going through the gas station, but only 94 made it to the station. Charges, in other words, there were 2 cars stop on this road for a long time. After a thorough screening, they found out it was a motorcycle and a car. As soon as Kuma and everyone are discussing whether AI is suspicious, the owner of the motorcycle, surprised to the police station, he confessed that he told Kuma that night. After finishing the work, he was on his way home when he was speeding. Plus not being able to avoid a truck. I had an accident in front of me. Car crashed into LAN can, and he himself was thrown into the grass on the side of the road. When he dreamily awoke from the grass, by chance, I saw 4 people burning something with fire. And then he got the news of the tragic death. The teacher's mind through the press. I came here to provide evidence. The motorcycle driver's testimony coincided, matched the results of the field inspection, so Kuma ruled him out as a suspect. Even with his help, the police quickly located. There were 4 suspicious men, through the camera, monitoring of a gas station. Through investigation, they found out that all 4 of them had criminal records. Money? Seriously. But the strange thing is, no matter what crime they commit, they're just locked up. He was released a few days later. Some people think that maybe they're working for some politicians, doing shady things so they're protected by the top. If that's the case, even if you catch it, they're no use either. Right now, Kuma suddenly received a phone call on. People who don't care about this case suddenly asked about the progress of the investigation. I noticed that something was wrong. Kuma hesitated for a moment and replied in the negative. I'm not sure if that person is, whether it's the killer or not. Before I catch Hung, the police officer will not disclose any information, maybe because of the sudden action, or 4 killer criminals who didn't take precautions. So Kuma and the police quickly summed up the names one by one, but did not expect the killer was taken to the police station. It's in the media. He was reporting at the same time that the criminals had been arrested. There is clearly someone inside. The ministry has revealed this information. This made Kuma very angry. You don't want to report to superiors before the criminals, plead guilty to avoid hitting the grass snake, but now he's forced to act before the umbrella. Behind these guys out. Unexpected during the interrogation. Then these guys are going wild. They don't show any remorse for the crime. Kill or burn the body that I caused. It's even louder, claiming it's only a few days away. They will be released. Kuma was interrogating them at the same time. The students learned that the killer had been arrested. He also walked in front of the police station. They shouted slogans demanding severe punishment. The criminals get justice for Saba. Knowing this, Kuma felt a little helpless. You have to get 10. There is enough evidence to convict them. Unsub. But I can't believe you're still a step behind in the end. For not reporting to his superiors, Kuma was yelled at by the police chief during a fight. The police chief said that this case is not simple. He got word from inside that if Kuma continues to investigate, your family may be targeted. So he hoped Kuma would deliver. Leave the case to someone else. I hear that, Kuma replied frankly. We wear khaki-colored uniform, not to hide cowardice. It's about law enforcement. It's not just that I'm wearing this uniform. I'll do the right thing. As soon as Kuma decided not to give up, some people suddenly come to the police station to meet criminals. They promised that only these four would cooperate. Will soon be released. Kuma's bottom just blinked at the criminals. When he was going to report what he saw to Cho Kuma, then a sudden phone call came in. Kearside wire the police. The chief announced that he got orders from his superiors. Request transfer these four criminals to another police station and suspended Kuma's investigation. From now on, the murder of Saba. Someone else will be in full charge. Kuma didn't expect it, even though they're moving so fast. But you're just helpless. Obey orders to transfer the criminals. On the way. 4 criminals, talk about being out soon. They seem to be excited. For once again escape from the punishment of the law. Home, remember the helpless students and the suffering mother, especially for losing you. After a thought, then he suddenly made a decision. Bold. Kuma orders subordinates to drive to a beach. It's when criminals get out of the car to go to the bathroom. He suddenly pulled out his gun. He didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. Gunshot. When I heard it, it shocked the whole country once again. When they heard about the criminal in the case was shot down and applauded. Saba's mother feels somewhat comforted. When finally, someone is demanding justice for her daughter. The police quickly held a press conference. They're treating this as a robbery. Kuma was forced to shoot back. Of course there are supporters. There are also doubters. The Human Rights Committee immediately responded. Strongly opposed. Abuse of office. The rights of the police. Some people even think that it's all one-sided talk from the police. Just as Kuma was about to speak, the man next to him suddenly said, "My son was in a traffic accident. Is being treated in the hospital." Kuma was stunned. Get out of the meeting room. To ignore the reporter's questions. Watching the little boy lying unconscious in the hospital bed, it was the first time Kuma felt so helpless. According to the teacher, a pickup truck. He lost control and crashed into a bus carrying students, causing a tragic accident. However, after the investigation, Kuma's people discovered the car that caused the accident didn't have a license plate. I don't know if this is Thai accident or a conspiracy. Has been arranged. Kuma couldn't calm down after the shock. Then the president called the Human Rights Commission. He was charged with the murder of 4 criminals. The trial will take place next week. Request. Kuma mentally prepares to face a storm. The storm is coming. Kuma bent down and kissed her comatose son on the forehead. Then the day of judgment came. Outside the courthouse, there were a lot of students. They chanted slogans in support of Kuma. Saba's mother was also present, and of course, she's on Kuma's side. They even said they'd sue the Human Rights Commission. Just before the trial begins, a lawyer walking quietly towards the foot. Gandhi's contempt for conscience is nothing. The minority submits to the majority. Everyone takes their place in turn. The trial officially opened. The gray-haired lawyer, defender Cho Kuma. The argument is that the 4 criminals are criminals. They interact and burn the victim. Every one of them deserves to be punished. Strict before the law. Even if sentenced to death, it's too late for them. It's true that Kuma shot them. But that's in the situation. They attacked the police. He stole a gun and tried to escape. If you let them escape, the consequences will be even worse. More, Kuma is a police officer with executive powers. He's done harm to people who don't deserve to be treated that way. It must be said that in this case, 4 criminals who committed horrific crimes here, they are the real evil enemies. While the white-haired lawyer makes his case, the lawyer on the Kier side suddenly protested. He wants to clarify. Do the 4 criminals deserve to be shot? So when I saw him raise his hand, the others are cold and indifferent. A lawyer in a hat named Yadav. He walked slowly up to the front with a stick. He made a shocking statement. It just makes people angry. That's according to the Bureau of Criminal Records. There's a steaming accident every 15 minutes. Matches happen in this country. But at SAO only Sa's case, Pa just caused such a big stir. As far as he knows, after the Sa Pa case, Chairman, the Human Rights Commission has published a shocking article, but only 2 days before the Sapa incident. A little girl who's been interacting like that. Location of the crime. It's even close to the Human Rights Commission. That was the day. Chairman, the Human Rights Committee posted a happy birthday, with a caption that I secretly miss. Yadav University. I don't understand why the case Sabah again caught everyone's attention, while the other matches are ignored. Even 0-1 condemnation. It's because of SAO. The white-haired lawyer hurriedly explained that SABA was burned. That's why the public is angry. The president of the Human Rights Committee also spoke out immediately. The case was on the front page. Newspapers across the country. So, it's understandable that it caused such a big shock. He replied, yes. The case of Sabah. It's on the front pages of newspapers. That's why people across the country care so much. But why is it on the front page? IDAP called a reporter. Give him the newspaper that day. And ask him to read. There is also a murder on page 7. The victim was a woman who cheated on her lover. The next day she was found in the lake. If you are a reporter, then he'll choose which case to put on the front page. And before we make a choice, there's one more important thing. That's Sabah's autopsy report. It takes until PM to get results, but the press has been reporting since early morning. So what can the media say? Sabah was steamed matches before the results. In other words, the cause of death of Sabah. The journalist will choose the case. Which of the two cases is on the front page? Sure. Case of adultery with lovers. And being killed is hotter. So Yadav has reason to suspect. Someone has deliberately used the media to manipulate opinion, and the most important thing, the autopsy report just said that Sabah is likely to be interacted with, but not for sure. So Yadav can also assume that Sabah gave up on himself by burning himself. Sabah's mother was excited to stand up. She accused Yadav of deliberately distracting her, slandering her daughter. Yadav gave a strange smile. It's as if they're working on a conspiracy. He didn't just stop. I asked Sabah's mother with a sharp question. She's seen her daughter interact with her. No, not before the case goes to trial. Did God tell you? Tell her that the other 4 are the culprits. Tell us how you know. Because the press reported in this trial that I also knew. Who also knows? You know why you did that to me. Sabah's mother almost fainted on the spot. The white-haired lawyer immediately protested. Yadav is distorting the truth. Even the judge didn't understand what the Yadav's intentions were. Right now, Yadav is just beginning to expose the truth of the whole thing, the case. And the film is also officially at its biggest turning point. First Yadav, it turns out that the press reports cannot represent the judgment of the law. You can't just rely on information in the press. That concludes the truth. At the same time, a man entered the courtroom. The truth about Sabah's death is revealed. The story goes back a few months. Sabah came across a desperate father looking for his daughter on the university campus. Curious to come closer to ask. The man said he had lost contact with my daughter for a long time. So I went to school to look for it, but it turned on silent. So Sabah enthusiastically helped him find his daughter. But when they finally found the girl, she'd become a cold corpse. What makes Sabah? I'm more excited than you've ever met this girl. She was crying that day because of something. So Sabah came to comfort her. Not expected. When we met again, she was gone forever. Although the police concluded the girl gave up, but the father, I still believe my daughter can't be natural, give birth like that. Image back to the courtroom. IDAP stressed that in the school, the number of student deaths has reached a staggering number. It's 52 Sabah cases that have paid attention to this. So, she began to investigate the truth about the girl's abandonment, and then in the things the girl left at school. Sabah discovered something strange. Normally speaking, students only need bud to 5 years to graduate from the school. But she's been studying for 7 years and she still hasn't gotten her degree. Continue to investigate in this direction and discover the girl's guide. The man with glasses, in the name of this knowledge, deliberately grade that girl's graduate paper. It's because the professor is hypocritical. He wanted to steal the girl's research. That's why he used a dirty trick to stop the girl from graduating, because of difficult family circumstances, plus belonging to the lower class. Poor in society, the girl is not able to fight back. I finally chose to give up everything, to know the truth. Sabah asked the SA to fire the glasses, professor. But don't understand. The principal rejected this proposal. When Sabah was outraged, go to the press to expose it. The professor with glasses came to Van Shin. Sabah, forgive him. It even promised, I'll talk to the vice principal about a promotion. For you, of course, Sabah 0. But she didn't realize, that's why the cataclysm came. That night the man wearing clear glasses was in a rage. The driver killed the teacher. Just on the road when you're on your way home. With his escape. It should have been an accident. And ran away due to a personal conflict. So why did it turn into a case? Matching and murder. Shock the whole country. The only answer is Kuma. At that time the ministerial election was taking place. The interior minister is caught in a cycle of bribery. And about 7. This sudden accident only puts him at a further disadvantage. Even when he's angry, criticizing subordinates as useless, Kuma stood out. He's trying to take advantage of the This is to the advantage of the Minister of the Interior. Then Kuma started actively planning for the whole thing. The first thing, he arranged for his subordinates, contact with the media, and the person in charge of public relations. Then he found for criminals. They often do dirty things for politicians. I promised to cover them, in exchange for them burning their dead bodies. So that's what the witnesses saw. Kuma then used the media to lead the case. In the direction of interaction, exaggerate its influence in the student world. Wait until these students get justice. Give the teacher, he'll have the police storm the school. Pushing the case to the climax. When things are about to get out of control, Kuma stood up again to fight the fire. Be a hero in everyone's eyes. When everything is done as planned, he can take advantage of his supporters to help the minister. Elected internal affairs. Everything went well beyond expectations. To push people's emotions to the top, Also for the prevention of accidents. The Minister of the Interior left. Kuma directly eliminated 4 key criminals. Of course, this has just happened. Kuma has received public support. After all, they want to see the results they want. When Asaz finished telling these things, the white-haired lawyer immediately stood up. He thinks it's just Asaz's guess. There's no actual evidence. At that moment, Kuma's closest subordinates suddenly walked into court. He proved everything. Asaz says it's all true. Asaz also came up with a series of steel proofs. He said angrily when those 4 were killed. Then everyone's celebrating. It's not for what's called a fucking cause. It's because they want to see it. Those 4 men paid with their lives. But that's justice. SAO is not entirely not. Those 4 are just their tools. Pick those 4. Bought those 4 people and killed them. Where did they get that confidence? When a dog is killed, people protest. When a person is killed, not even the dog is sad. Where does that belief come from? It's from the judges of the country. We, sir, silence those who dare to speak out. But no matter what you do to them, someone will ask questions and someone will answer them. This is our country, our country. With the claims of Asaz and the evidence brought to the judge immediately declared immunity. Assign all police officers related to the case. Kuma also paid dearly for what he did. And from beginning to end, he didn't even justify a word. When everyone's turned to him to curse his cursed VI. He's slow again. Look at the most reliable man. Image moved to an evening a few days earlier. On a rainy night, Kuma knocked on his subordinate's door. Give him all the evidence and all the facts. I don't know why he did that. Kuma said that this is the retribution he must bear. The day Kuma's son had an accident. The subordinates investigated the car without a license plate. There seems to be someone behind the rope. Then the interior minister called. He told Kuma, your son will not SAO. Hang up. Kuma understood what the previous interior minister meant. To win, I'll play any dirty game. Because we need to get it back. Power. The hero's tragedy always moves history forward. Our hero should become a character. Sizes turned out from beginning to end. He's just a pawn on the chessboard. Although the interior minister did not specify, but Kuma insists he's the one behind it. Put your son in the hospital. But that's his ultimate limit. For boys, Kuma can sacrifice everything, including myself. So he took advantage of it a week ago. The trial took place to collect 10 of all the evidence, at the same time, based on his identity to investigate clearly, top of the business. Then he gave the truth to his followers. Tell him to turn it over to a lawyer. But don't tell him the skills. Whether this is provided by AI. Because Kuma thought he had to bear the consequences. Along with the end of the whole thing, the man wearing glasses was finally arrested. The Minister of the Interior will also be punished. So the basic story here is the end. I have to say that the plot of the film is extremely compelling. The twists are not just for shock. The movie's theme is also bold. The explanation, this brief, is easy to miss. Lots of special conversations. I encourage everyone to watch the movie. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching the movie. How do you see this movie? Please comment below.